My name is Rick Rieger, and I'm a 63-year-old retired teacher. I kind of look at my life in stages. When I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I was a very active, somewhat accomplished athlete. Kind of like Dr. Wilson says, probably the older I get, the better I was back then. But I was all-state in high school, played semi-pro in the Air Force, and physically was very active, but I didn't eat well. I spent a series of my life on drugs and abused my body essentially. But even through my 30s, I continued to be very physically active and work out in the gym. When I hit my 40s, as a school teacher, I started to become very inactive. And what happened was that I was a teacher and I sat at my desk and wasn't as active as I should be. Started putting on weight but still in my early 50s, people would look at me and guess that I was 41, 42 years old. In my mid 50s, I was diagnosed with cancer, had throat cancer, and I've been through a whole series of operations. And the way I look at it is that I'm paying a price for the way I lived my life earlier. I could get away with it back then. I still felt good, even though I wasn't treating my body well. And as I've gotten older, I realized that I can't do that any longer. And so what I've been working on is becoming more and more physically active through working out in the gym, through hiking, through doing things that I really enjoy doing, and also changing the kind of food that I put in my body, and realizing also that I can't do it all with that I also have to have supplements. And so I've been taking Nefesh, and it's made a world of difference. You know, back in April, I had major surgery where I had a dead bone from radiation. This is years later. I'm still paying a price for the treatments that they needed to do to save my life back in 2005, 2006. But essentially, what they did is they took 13.5 inches out of my leg, took the arteries and the veins, and they cut my dead bone out of my jaw and just grafted it in. And that was in April. I think the Nefesh and the Sportron products have made a huge difference, and the doctors are just amazed at how quickly I was up. I was walking back to doing spinning classes and weightlifting in the gym, and starting to hike again. I've got a long way to go. It's going to be a difficult journey, but it took me a lot of years to get in this kind of shape physically, and so I'm not going to get out of it overnight. And so it's going to take not just doing those things, but also doing them very consistently and persistently on a daily basis. And it would be great if you could just take a pill and everything would be okay, but it doesn't work that way. And it's not just joining a club. You actually have to show up every day and be doing it. Inactivity is the killer. And every time I pick a day to just be inactive, I notice that my body is sore. I think my body tries to tell me that what I need is rest. But what I need to do is just keep moving. And the more I do that, the better I feel. It's funny too that because I don't weigh much, we live in a society that says if you don't weigh a lot, you must be healthy. And so people tell me, oh, your body, it looks good because you don't have a big gut and you're not all flabby, but that's not the entire picture. It's the entire health of your body that makes the difference. Particularly the older you get, the more important it becomes to be both physically active and be very cautious with the kind of food that you eat, what you put in your body, and also realizing that you do need to do some supplementation, and not all supplementation is the same. You got to put some real live food in your body that your body recognizes a nutrient. You can't just go buy the cheapest vitamins you can find in the grocery store and think that that's doing you any good, because it doesn't.